But let's go over some of the most important things to know, the groundwork to know about what you're going to see today in the certification of the electors. So let's talk about how the process normally works. So December 14th, the Electoral College met in each state capital, and they chose the electors in each state. They put the electors and who they're voting for in an envelope, and they mailed it off to DC or horseback. I don't know how it got there. Today, normally, the vice president opens up the envelope and says, California, 55 electors go to Joe Biden. And half the people cheer and the other half boo. And they just do that. And then whoever gets above 270 is named the winner, and they're the president-elect officially. Great. That's usually takes like 20 minutes, right? It's normally a very simple formality. That is not how it's going to go today. Oh, by the way, we're going to be covering this live today. It starts at 1 o'clock Eastern. I'll be anchoring that coverage today, so make sure you stay here on the first so you can get full coverage of what exactly is going to happen today. Let's go over instead right now 2 things that Trump wants to happen. All right, so we just talked about what normally happens. Now let's talk about what Trump wants to happen. There's 2 scenarios. First scenario, Pence goes rogue. So Pence takes the California electors and says, oh, yeah, those go to Biden. And then he takes the Florida electors, opens up the envelope and says, okay, they go to Trump. And then he comes across the Georgia electors and says, man, I don't like Georgia. We're not accepting these. Too much fraud. I don't accept it. And then he moves on. and he chooses on his own which electors to accept and which to not accept. And he'll choose, this is Trump's dream, he'll choose not to accept the electors from Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, Pennsylvania, et cetera, keeping both candidates below 270 electors, and then it goes to the House, and the House will vote for Trump, and Trump wins. Now, there's a question, it's kind of an important one. Can Pence do that? Now, apparently, Pence doesn't think Pence can do that. But then last night, Trump said Pence does think that Pence can do that. I don't know. We'll see how he handles this in literally the next few hours here. I don't know how well Mike Pence slept last night. Now, here's the argument, the constitutional argument that both sides are making on this. So the 12th Amendment, it says that each state meets on the same day to choose their electors, right? By the way, the 12th Amendment was ratified in 1789. So these are still our founding fathers who did this. So it says you certify and then you transmit the votes to the President of the Senate, Mike Pence. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and the House of Representatives, that's a joint session day, open all the certificates and the votes shall be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes for president shall be the president. Now, some conservatives say that, like Louis Gohmert and others, say that this gives Pence the ability to decide if he accepts the electors from the states or not, and he can decide on his own. Surely, they say, he can't just be a glorified envelope opener. And others say, no, he's just a glorified envelope opener. He's simply presiding over this process, not ruling over the process. And they focus on the word counted, right? It says the votes shall then be counted. In the Constitution, there's another section about contested congressional elections. It's Article 1, Section 5. It says each house shall be the judge of the elections, returns, and qualifications of its own members. All right? So this happened a few times. Probably the most notable was 1984. There was a congressional seat in Indiana. There were 230,000 votes, and the Democrat won by 4. All right? But it was chaos, missing votes, found boxes of, it was total madness, right? So how do we determine the winner? The Constitution says it actually goes to the House. The Congress decides who wins that congressional race. And the Democrats in charge shockingly voted for the Democrat to, in fact, win. But the point of this is the Constitution was clear in the House that they have discretion to be the judge of the elections, the judge of the returns, and the judge of the qualifications of its own members. Our founders put that specific language in there. The 12th Amendment, they did not. They just said that the vice president shall count. They did not say the vice president shall be the judge of the count. Now, this was clarified in 1877. Why? Because there was a blizzard in Wisconsin in 1857. Like, this is why I love history, that there could be something like a blizzard in 1857 that affects Mike Pence on January 6, 2021. So here's the quick of the story. There's the election of 1856, and the electors have to all meet on the same day in their respective state capitals, right? But there was a blizzard in Madison, and the electors couldn't meet until the next day, a day late. So a month goes by, and the envelope makes it to DC, and the vice president gets to Wisconsin and says, the electors go to the Republican. And a Democrat stood up and said, wait a second, they filed it a day late. Those shouldn't count. And the head of the Senate said, I don't know what to do. And he did it anyway, he certified him anyway. And there were a ton of objections about this. And one senator said, hold on, the vice president does not have the power to arbitrarily decide which electors to accept and which not to accept. And one of the senators said, this arbitrary power could make a president of the United States without an election, if the vice president has that power to do whatever he wants. And that's what people want Pence to do today.
Wow, that was deep and insightful. I want more of that.
Like, subscribe, get more.